I'm 26 and on step 7.
Nice.
Should I diversify my granted RSUs? How should I approach this?
So Sinking Potato, sounds like you work for a company that part of your compensation isn't just the W-2 wage that you receive, but you receive some stock compensation in the forms of restricted stock units. For those of you that don't know, this means that, hey, as an employer, I'm gonna give you shares in this company, but you're not gonna get them all today. I'm gonna give you X number of shares and they're gonna vest over a certain period of time. Often, maybe you'll get a third next year, a third the year after, and then the final third in the following year. And so that's great. You get vested in this, and when these shares vest, they're immediately taxable to you. And then they're your shares. You get to choose what you do with it. Well, a lot of folks, it's just kind of out of sight, out of mind. Like I get my paycheck, it's my checking account, I've got these things happening in the background, and before you know it, after you've worked through a number of vesting cycles, you're sitting there saying, holy cow, I have a ton of RSUs. I have a ton of exposure. And while that may be exciting, certainly if you're working for a company whose stock price has done well, what you may not realize is that you've actually inserted a ton of risk into your overall financial picture, because now, not only is all of your human capital tied up in this singular company, right? They are your JOB. They're where... What did I steal? I'm
going to just start stealing. When we're going to play the word game here. Whenever you steal my answers, I'm just going to check them off and say, okay, there it is. Keep going.
All of your human capital is tied up in this company. Well, now the majority of your financial capital can also be tied up in it. So what you want to make sure you do is you don't become over-concentrated to that singular company. So you ought to think about a strategy on how you divest RSUs. Brian, when we think about people divesting RSUs, what are some of the ways that we often see people do this? And what are, as a tax guy, what are the good tax ways to think about this?
Well, there's several things to consider here. Is that you're getting RSUs every year. So it's almost like a ladder in the fact that, you got some coming in, you got some coming out. You got some coming in, you got some coming out. So it really creates a cool system to where you can create diversification just through the passage of time and creating a system that lets you sell these. Now, you can figure out how optimistic you are about the company you're with keeping in that delicate balance that Bo was talking about of human capital versus investment capital. But I mean, a lot of people just turn them over. I mean, that's the typical thing. With options, sometimes you exercise them and then you hold them for 12 months and then you wash and repeat on the diversification. RSUs are a little different.
Because when they vest, it's taxable to you on that day. So if you sell them immediately, there's no additional tax consequence. It's the point of minimal tax impact if you sell when the RSUs vest.
So I definitely agree with Bo. Make sure you're diversifying your human capital from the investment capital. The other thing I was going to say is it's not uncommon when I see this type of stuff for these companies, these public companies, they also offer employee stock purchase plans where they will offer like 15% discounts, and they do the lower of it at the beginning of the quarter or at the end of the quarter. We look at this as like step 2 on the financial order of operations because it literally is free money. But you have to walk this delicate balance of maximizing these employer benefits, but getting out of them or diversifying them as fast as you possibly can, because there is obviously risk of concentration. But man, oh man, what an awesome wealth building opportunity. If you understand the risk, you understand the opportunity, and you execute a plan that lets you leverage and build on this to maximize your wealth building journey.
That's great.